Good morning. I'm Jane Pauley, and this is Sunday morning. And not just any Sunday. No, not because of the Super Bowl. Today is Scout Sunday, a run-up to this week's 108th anniversary of the founding of the Boy Scouts of America. Through all those years, the Scouts have never failed to live up to the motto, be prepared. So are they prepared for the challenge of a changing America? A question Tony DeCopel will answer in our cover story.
The Boy Scouts marched into 2018, perhaps best known for merit badges, outdoor adventure, and an image sometimes stuck in the 1950s.
The first Scout handbook said, you are an American boy, and soon you will be an American man.
My favorite edition, 1950s.
Who's ready for Nature High? Yeah!
Ahead on Sunday morning, a big change for the Boy Scouts.
Be prepared is the Boy Scout motto. It means always being ready to do what is necessary to help others. But does that include welcoming your kid sister into the troop? Our cover story is reported by Tony DeCopel.
Who's ready for Nature High? Yeah! Oh my.
Last Sunday in Portland, Oregon, a new group of Boy Scouts marched off in search of adventure.
Raise your hand if you're in Pack 203. You're doing archery, so head back over there to archery.
Time was, being called a girl in the Boy Scouts was an insult.
Tic-tac-toe, give me an X, give me an O, give me 3 in a row. Rochambeau!
Not anymore. As of 3 weeks ago, the Boy Scouts of America are admitting girls as Cub Scouts. And what do boys think of all this?
I already have to deal with my sister all day, every day. And this is like the only time I get away from her, really, so.
We asked Calvin Hickey, whose sister Mackenzie was the very first girl in the Pacific Northwest to sign up.
Just be nice to the girls and don't be mean, or else you won't get picked on a lot.
We did Pinewood Derby a couple of days ago, and I did a watermelon car, and he did a Ferrari.
8-year-old Jordana Garcia had been coming to scouting for years, tagging along with her brother Daniel.
Sometimes he would do, like, carving and other stuff, but I just had to sit in the car, just do my notebook, and just start doing whatever I did. And I could hear inside her mind that she was really jealous about that. You're rid of my mind, bro.
To be sure, it's still a work in progress, but something had to be done. Since the early 1970s, the Boy Scouts have lost 2/3 of their annual membership, some 4 million boys. And that's a tradition they want to change, while still preserving almost everything else.
Yeah, looking good, man. Keep going. Switch out when you get tired.
With the light fading in the mountains of Utah, Boy Scout Troop 1262 out of Salt Lake City
Tip it up. There, yeah, good.
hustles to pack and stack an old-fashioned defense against the elements.
If you're really cold, let's go build a campfire with me.
Building campfires and igloos is the kind of outdoor adventure that's defined the Boy Scouts of America for more than 100 years.
Oh, nice.
A scout is what?
Trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind.
The Boy Scouts began as a movement in England in the early 20th century. It took off in America almost immediately as a way to keep young men, as the Scout Oath puts it, physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight. Tens of millions of American boys have taken that oath, but only the most determined attain scouting's highest rank. Eagle Scouts are an elite group of American men, including billionaires like Michael Bloomberg and presidents like Gerald Ford.
I'd like to say hello to all my fellow scouts and scouters at Farragut State Park in Idaho.
Eagle Scout Neil Armstrong even sent a message to the annual Scout Jamboree,
And Apollo 11 like to send them best wishes.
just before the Eagle landed on the moon.
Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed.
We don't know if that lunar module was named the Eagle because of the preponderance of Eagle Scouts, but we like to think we had just a little bit of involvement in that.
Michael Serba is the chief scout executive for the Boy Scouts of America.
Kids want what we have. The traditional aspects of outdoors, camping, adventure, hiking, this is what we do.
The fact that fewer kids were doing it, he says, has to do with mom and dad.
You think about how families then in the 70s, 80s, and 90s started to change. A lot more pressures on the family. More activities for children. You know, moms now are in the workforce, but because we didn't adapt our program design, we just had a slow, steady erosion.
An erosion he doesn't believe is tied to policies that many saw as exclusionary.
I think we probably had some erosion of membership due to controversy over, you know, whether to have gay youth and gay adults. But I think we were losing far more kids because family structures were changing and we hadn't changed our program design.
Which brings us back to Troop 1262, one of the fastest growing troops in America. The Scouts are almost all Burmese refugees, their families resettled here from Thailand.
These guys came from a land where they have to hunt and fish and, you know, and be on the outdoors to survive, right? And they bring those things with them. They bring those skill sets with them.
Nice work, guys. This looks good.
Volunteer leader Saborn Va was also once a refugee. He escaped Cambodia's so-called killing fields.
You guys ready for this? Can you scoot in a little bit?
If not for scouting, what do you think they'd be doing?
Well, I mean, I'll tell you what the boys told me. You know, if it wasn't for scouting, I'd probably be involved with a gang somewhere because that's where all their friends are.
At the peak of scouting in the 1970s, what was the image of the Boy Scout?
That's easy. 90% would have said green shorts, long socks, help a little lady across the street.
Would they also say white?
They would probably see it as suburban, white.
But now?
If you asked what does a Boy Scout look like, I think they would say it looks like a kid.
That image includes all races and all genders. But one group that's definitely not happy with the Boy Scouts' decision to admit girls is the Girl Scouts of the USA.
We were really taken aback because we were just told of this decision and then they quickly announced it. You know, frankly, two separate organizations, but we've been working together in the communities for over 100 years.
Sylvia Acevedo is the chief executive officer of the Girl Scouts. She's also a rocket scientist, really, and she says she owes it all to the organization she now leads.
Scouting, Boy Scouting, high adventure camping, we offer that too. And we have these amazing programs that are so relevant to the 21st century. And we have the best leadership program that has been designed and developed for girls. And we know what it takes to get girls to succeed.
Follow me.
Still, some girls are excited to follow their brothers into scouting. They can join all-girl Cub Scout dens right now. And older girls will be eligible to become Eagle Scouts in 2019.
So now we're going to go ahead and award our Eagle candidates. We have 5 of them.
Back in Utah, it's clear that's still a pursuit with the power to change young lives for the better.
Always remember who you are. Be proud of where you have come from and all you have done to bring you to where you are now.
At this ceremony in Salt Lake City, 5 new Eagle Scouts, veterans of igloos, and so much more, beamed as they received their medals, an honor their sisters may soon pursue as well.